The Baroness is as beautiful as a sunrise, but beneath her dazzling smile lies a heart as cold and cruel as winter. She moves like a blizzard, and a single glance from her could freeze any soul in place. That is the only reputation this Baroness Nane has earned in the mind of the protagonist. After all, Nane is nothing more than a villainous, a side character meant to stand in the way of the princess's love story and drive her into the arms of the vile king. The maids whisper among themselves, clearly uneasy. They know Nane is on her way to the drawing room, but the tea has already been set outside. One of them, mustering courage, calls out to her. Meanwhile, Lucy, newly assigned to the manor, greets Nane in a gloomless voice, commenting on how the weather is quite nice today and that she should have taken a walk outside. But here's the thing: when the writer truly despises a character, they make it known. Nane smiles sweetly and says she's looking forward to it all, but the maid mutters to Lucy that they'd never seen her smile like this before, and if this is a threat, then yes, perhaps it is. It's becoming clear that the writer really does hate Nane, which, unfortunately, is a terrible stroke of luck for the poor protagonist, because now she's stuck inside Nane's body. Nane, the protagonist, is internally panicking, wondering if she handled that encounter correctly. Honestly, the maid's ignoring her completely is almost helpful. She's only been in this body for about a week, and adjusting has been anything but easy. This mansion is the size of a small country. She can't even find the exit half the time. And then there's Lucy. She's strange. She's the only one who doesn't seem scared of Nane. In fact, she reminds the protagonist of her old self. Just a week ago, the protagonist was genuinely happy. It was before all this, before the ending that spiraled into disaster. She had just landed her dream job right out of high school. Working at a quaint little bakery, learning under a master pastry chef, she'd go home each evening with bags full of sweets he'd taught her to make. It felt like everything was falling into place. Sure, she was dead broke, but she had enough willpower to get up every day and keep going, because this was what she wanted to do with her life, not just as a cashier, but as the owner of a bakery someday. To chase that dream, she also picked up a night job as a delivery driver, mainly to save up through tips. She worked in the food service industry for 5 years, and she preferred the customers who couldn't always afford to tip over the entitled ones. Even then, her customer service smile was impeccable, no matter how rude people were. But now she's the rich, entitled customer. She doesn't know how to carry this aura. She isn't sure what to say to the maids, because the original Nane always had a complaint ready. Instead, she tells them everything is fine. She even says thank you. The maids look at her like she's lost her mind. It's difficult for her. Nane would never say these things, but the protagonist is in her body now, and she'll have to maintain the act. Because just a week ago, the second job she'd taken to chase her dreams ended up killing her. It's like the saying goes, your whole life flashes before your eyes when you die. But no one ever talks about what comes next. She opens her eyes, and sleeping before her is a ridiculously handsome, edible-looking man. She wonders briefly, who the hell is this man? And more importantly, is he dead? Thankfully, she can see that he's breathing, though she's not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. She pokes herself to confirm, no, this definitely isn't a dream. If it's not a dream, then, was she abducted? She bolts for the door and starts to run, trying to get a grip. After all, she's watched enough crime documentaries to know she needs to stay sharp. Maybe she can find a bus stop first. But oh, poor her, there's no sign of a highway or even asphalt. Instead, she sees a carriage and horses. She blinks. Maybe this serial killer is just crazy and rich. She lights the only candle in the room, having no idea what she's supposed to do. Her instincts kick in. Girl needs to find a weapon. She starts rummaging through papers, searching for a dagger or anything remotely sharp. Finally, she finds a knife. Without hesitation, she points it at the handsome man, because just because your kidnapper looks like a model doesn't mean you can trust him. She catches sight of her on a nearby mirror, and oh my god, girl could not seem to recognize it. Even the flames seem to burst upward as the candle tips and falls. In a panic, instead of putting it out with water, she accidentally splashes wine on it. No water. No rational thinking. Cue Sleeping Beauty finally waking up and getting soaked in the wine. The man stares at her, completely drenched. She internally curses herself. Great way to provoke the murderer. She tries to cover her tracks and gestures weakly, as if saying she was just trying to extinguish the flames. The cute murderer stares at her and tells her it wasn't wise. She agrees it was indeed incredibly stupid. He reaches for her hand, inspecting it gently to check if she got burned anywhere. She's too flustered to react properly. He calls her something that catches her off guard because the name Nane sounds oddly familiar. She barely manages to stammer out that she's fine, before asking, somewhat out of order, if he is good. He tells her calmly that it could have been dangerous after all. They've only been married for a month and he sincerely hopes this isn't an omen. Wait, married? Okay. So this guy doesn't exactly scream serial killer now, but she still can't understand any of what's happening. He reaches for one of the scattered papers and asks her what it is. She starts to backpedal, saying she just needs a walk, maybe some fresh air. And then he asks her, is this another one of her lovers? She's horrified. No, no, she wants to scream. But he starts reading the letter aloud. It's a love note in which his wife Nane is clearly planning to meet her lover next week. The worst part? He actually looks hurt. Oh God. No, wait, he's got it all wrong. If he thinks this is the only lover she's had, then he's in for an even bigger heartbreak. Her husband Isaac apparently is angry now. He wants her to explain all of this. He asks her, straight-faced, if his darling wife would care to clarify. She, meanwhile, is wondering if she'll ever get out of this massive disaster of a situation. Over the next couple of weeks, she starts to piece things together. No one is actually a serial killer. Not that it matters because she really is dead in her original life. She remembers the car crash, the impact, the spinning headlights. That moment when time stops. She must have died. Apparently, the universe decided her personal hell would begin by getting stuck in the body of Nane, her least favorite character from a novel she once skimmed. She must have pissed off some higher power. What else could explain being reincarnated not as the heroine but as the most hated side character? She didn't have time to finish reading the whole novel, but the plot still sticks with her. The heroine is Princess Amelia of Legatia, a noble, strong-hearted girl who inherits the throne after her older brother, the king, suddenly dies. He was poisoned, and when the news hits the cities, riots erupt in the streets. The people immediately suspect Zeldin, the neighboring country known for its impulsive, brutal history of war. Everyone believes Zeldin has broken the fragile peace treaty. With her brother dead, her mother paralyzed by grief, and her people crying for justice, Amelia is left to rule alone. Well, not entirely alone. She has her childhood friend by her side, Isaac, the legation ambassador to Zeldin. Yep, that Isaac. The very same Isaac who is now married to Nane. In the web novel, it was heavily implied that both Isaac and Amelia had feelings for each other, but for political reasons, Isaac had to marry someone else. Even a well-bred noble wasn't a good match for the princess. But then, why the hell did the author make Isaac marry Nane? Nane had no remarkable qualities. She was a nightmare to the servants, a terror to animals, and on top of that she cheated on her husband. Not once, not twice, multiple times. And that's why the protagonist is currently hiding in the garden. Because honestly, none of this is her fault. She knows exactly how the story ends. Amelia tries to preserve peace between Zeldin and Legatia. She suppresses her own feelings and even agrees to marry the ruthless Zeldin king to prevent an all-out war. But it all backfires. The king betrays her. War breaks out. And in the middle of it all, Isaac and Nane are accused of treason. They're captured, dragged before the throne, and executed, beheaded, right in the middle of the royal court. Gross. She remembers the webtoon panel too clearly. Even the expressions of the crowd made her gag. Nane really wants to keep her head. So the best move here? Get out of Legatia ASAP. Only problem, she's a woman in a medieval fantasy kingdom. She has no independent finances, not a coin in her name. But if she can escape, it'll be a win-win. No one here likes her anyway. She's basically a walking pariah. Except for that one guy Gustav, her weirdo stalker. She asks him directly if he needs anything from her. And Gustav, without hesitation, says he needs her. Why? Oh great. Direct need. Wow. He even winks at her god. He better have something in his eye. She can't even get a little hour of peace alone before this guy manages to find her again. She wonders to herself if he doesn't have any job to do. If he has so much time on his hands, then maybe he should go wash the toilet again. Somehow, he still gets a hint from that, because why else would someone want to sleep with their nasty CEO? He tells her he's here to fetch her for the butler, but she savagely ignores him, moving past him while mentally thanking him for the information. Poor Gustav looks all sad and says of course, but still insists on accompanying her. She tells him she's really fine walking alone. But this man, with the resolve of an elephant, claims he can't let a beautiful lady walk around unescorted. This guy has been the same with her since the start. The female maids did find him charming, but to her, he's nothing but annoying. She's so done and even wonders if Nane was sleeping with him or what. She can't believe that Nane had such low standards. Before they go inside, he grabs her hand and, with a cough, says that they never got the chance to pick up where they left off last time. He must be thinking about their last encounter in her bedroom. She can see the red alert flashing now and knows she really needs to do something. Having no other choice, she runs away. Finally, she gets away from him. She wishes that would answer whatever question he was about to ask. She can tell that Nane really didn't like her affairs with rich noblemen. He may be the only one who doesn't hate her, but him actually liking her might be even worse. But again, who knows? He might be useful. At least he's not afraid to talk to her. She has less than a year to run away from Legatia or she will die. If she could play it smart, she might have been able to use his infatuation with her to her advantage and done everything possible to keep him loyal to her. But bro, have some dignity. She wonders if it really wouldn't be that bad after all. This is the kind of thing they usually do in this era. She's honestly considering it. She then overhears someone saying that her and Isaac sleeping in separate rooms after the wedding is not good. Someone tells Isaac that if he really wants to keep living like this, he better use the master suite. But Isaac insists it won't be necessary and that their current arrangement is fine. He instructs the butler to tell the other servants that he will keep living in the guest wing for the time being. They both still haven't talked since that incident when Isaac found out about her affairs. He only said one thing to her after that if she kept doing this, he wouldn't have any other option but to divorce her. She starts pacing. Getting divorced is a good thing, but again, that way she'll end up poor and single, and this era is not kind to single women. With no better option, she plans to live here until she comes up with something smarter. She plans to survive this life by making friends with people who might not want to sleep with her. The butler suggests that he knows Nane can be demanding, but they can give her a good room on the 3rd floor. But Isaac doesn't want that. He says it's alright and, to avoid making Nane lose face, tells the butler that she must just be exhausted from their long, yummy honeymoon. She's confused. Why is he covering for her? It's not like her reputation could get any worse. But maybe he's doing it for himself. Isaac takes his leave, saying that he will keep taking his meals in the study. Later, he meets Nane outside, but ignores her. She can even feel the cold air coming off his shoulder. Isaac avoiding her might buy her some time, but then again, this guy is also intimidating. She wonders if there's a way to earn a quick buck, or if she can sneak out to scope things out beyond this labor of a mansion. Now sitting with the butler, he tells her that a polo event is coming up, and as the most famous horse rider aristocrat, she will be expected to take part. Nane wonders if she was really a great aristocrat, because in her past life she has never even seen a horse. This feels like a footnote in the novel, and it seems like it's about to ruin her life. The butler adds that they will have to prepare a dish, and he was told that the Duchess is really fond of cream and peaches. She gets really annoyed after learning this. She thinks that if the Duchess likes cream and peaches, she must also like sweet cream cheese, strawberry, chocolate, and salted key lime. She asks how many people know that the Duchess likes this kind of food. He tells her that everyone knows this. She points out that it wouldn't be a good idea to bring the same things everyone else will be bringing. She says she's got some really good alternatives, but all the things she names are dishes the poor butler has never even heard of. He asks her if she thinks the chef will be familiar with any of those dishes. He takes her to the kitchen. The kitchen is massive. And to Nane, it feels like heaven. The kitchen is truly beautiful, and the air is filled with a delicious aroma. Nane notices all the maids busily preparing fresh bread for the week. One of the maids almost jumps in fear upon spotting Nane in the kitchen, as Nane had apparently been giving them an intense stare without realizing it. The frightened maid nudges another, and soon the entire group looks gloomy, making Nane wonder why she's suddenly giving off weird vibes. It's not like she's the problem here. She observes that the chef is very picky. Several maids have to start over from the beginning because they didn't do it perfectly. Even that one maid is having a hard time. It seems like everyone is terrified of the head cook. Honestly, it's just as terrible as the bread-making production house she used to work at in her past life. She asks Luis if he knows who hired Francis. Luis reminds her that it was she who hired him. Oh, right, it really was her. He then hands her the grocery list for the month. It includes everything the kitchen needs to prepare for that upcoming fancy party. Luis mentions that the budget is a bit of a mess. He knows that she fired a lot of maids a few days ago and that they haven't hired replacements yet. They can't take any more money out of the payroll account for other household expenses. She can't believe she fired someone. She wonders why. What did the maid even do to deserve getting fired? Was it that, with Nane's lavish spending, she simply wanted to redirect the funds to pay for her million boy toys? She can't believe she may have ruined someone's career for her own luxury. Then again, it's actually kind of a good yet evil move. At least she's got taste. She looks over the grocery list and finds it really small. It only has honey, cocoa powder, and the most basic fruits. But still, it might be enough to make the pastry she has in mind. She's planning to make strawberry and raspberry Napoleons. The ingredients for it are simple enough. The only question is whether she has the time. She approaches Francis to ask if the dessert can be made. Francis nods, saying yes, but it's obvious she's lying. Nane starts to wonder if these desserts even exist in this world yet. She thinks maybe they don't, and she could teach Francis how to make them. But then again, the whole maid team would need to learn too, and they don't have that kind of time. She asks Francis if she knows how to make elephant's ears, a kind of dessert. Looking even more gloomy, Francis says sure, they can try one by one. Nane proceeds to list all kinds of desserts, and it becomes painfully clear that this chef doesn't know how to make any of them, which leads her to wonder how is she even the cook. Maybe dessert making in this era is just really underdeveloped. She thinks hiring a new chef would be too much of a pain. So she asks Francis if she at least knows how to make crepes. She figures that everyone here must at least know how to cook crepes, so they'll go with that. The butler, however, is bewildered. But still, the order is given to make crepes. As she leaves, she thinks to herself that even if they're not much advanced in baking, it's okay because she's not just going to sit back and bring crepes to that party. After all, there's that saying, if it can't get done, do it yourself. That night, Nane is lying on her bed, wide awake, feeling sleepy and wondering if everyone else has gone to their own beds yet. She thinks that even if she's stuck in this world, she can at least make good desserts and bring new sugar recipes to life. She's honestly dying to try out that kitchen again. Finally, it's time for her to bake something. She looks around, wondering if heating up the oven will draw too much attention. But then again, she thinks, she's in charge of this place. No one will dare to question her. But oh, no, the door is locked. She is utterly disheartened. How is she supposed to make those banana layers now? This place really is hell, at least for a high society Korean girl like her. She really misses her body and her modern stoves. She's all sad because now she's supposed to bring those crepes to the Duchess like some amateur. Things aren't going great. And then Gustav shows up. She's already done with everything when he asks what she's doing here at this hour. She tells him she was just about to leave like, man, get the hint, can you? But he leans very close to her like, really close, and says he heard that she and Isaac aren't sharing a room, and he hopes Isaac isn't having too much trouble sleeping alone. She tells him she's fine and asks why he's here this late. He tells her that Isaac asked him to get a drink, but she can tell from the look on his face that he just came to steal one for himself. She tries to escape, saying that in that case, he should go do his duty. But oh my god, with his smooth riz, he says that he'd much rather attend to her, because he still remembers perfectly well that she liked his company last time. Brushing her cheek, he asks if she's really sure she doesn't want an escort upstairs. She can't believe this guy is so terribly confident. Girl really considers it for a moment because, you see, she hasn't had that in so long. But she slaps herself, what the hell is she even thinking at this time? Besides all that, he's really pushy, which is an absolute turn-off in a man. Still, she begins to think that if she lets him kiss her and he becomes her lover, maybe she could use him to escape this place. But that would only make her worse than the old Baroness. It's basically body snatching, and it would be really weird. She tells him that she knows they might share a really good connection, but again, she really needs to be careful about her reputation here. He says he understands, of course. He knows her marriage with Isaac lacks passion, she herself told him that. But if she wants to stay loyal to Isaac, he understands that too. In that case, he says it's better if they just say goodbye. Nane agrees that this sounds good and bids him farewell as well. The next day, Nane is having breakfast with Isaac. She really misses having coffee because this breakfast she's currently eating is almost entirely fruit. A maid asks her if she'd like anything else. She replies that she's fine. Nane is all worked up, thinking she should appear completely fine. She wonders if Isaac thinks she speaks far too informally. She forces herself to start a conversation, asking Isaac if there's anything interesting in the newspaper. But, poor her, she gets ignored terribly. She's not sure what he's doing sitting there eating with her all of a sudden, but again, maybe it's just for appearances. She wonders if this is really what a passionless marriage looks like. The web novel basically implied that much. She wonders if this is why Nane cheated on him, because he never cared for her. She thinks maybe their marriage was a matter of convenience all along. But then again, she's sure he at least cared a little. She could see the hurt in his eyes when he found out she was cheating on him. She also notices that he barely touches those vegetables, which, let's be honest, she doesn't blame him, for those things were never particularly appetizing. And naturally, he prefers sweets. She sighs to herself, girl, are you even thinking straight? It's not like she married him. She reminds herself that she better start thinking more carefully. That fish over there already seems to be leading her eyes toward Amel, and she can't get distracted. Meanwhile, we see that Lucy is bustling around the place. Nane is sure that this large estate is built to make the lowest ranks come first and lead last. And now is the time to finally talk to Lucy alone. She approaches Lucy, who gets all surprised to see her like this. Nane asks her if she's that scullery maid with the gleaming eyes. Lucy says that she is. Nane tells her that she's sure Lucy doesn't want to remain a scullery maid her whole life. But this cute girl seems happy with whatever employment she's been given. Nane tells her she's sure Lucy just wants to upgrade her rank. Lucy also says that she does, but it will take some time. Nane smirks and asks if she would like her help. All confused, Lucy asks if she means she wants to help her upgrade. Nane says that's not exactly what she meant, she'll just help her learn how to know how. What even is that? Nane's going to teach her. Lucy lights up, she's actually really cute, but Nane reminds herself that she needs to act like a proper villainess. She tells her that it's rather inconvenient for her as a baroness, but still, she'll help her. It'll be a favor she's going to do for her, and of course, this favor is it. So now, we see that Nane is teaching Lucy how to make good bread, but oh my god, this girl is really new to it. While making the bread, she pours in all the flour and ends up creating an absolute mess. Lucy quickly says she'll go clean it up right away, but Nane scolds her, telling her she needs to stir it up first. She starts to laugh because, honestly, she's really starting to enjoy this whole bossy attitude she's putting on. Finally, they manage to make the bread. Lucy asks Nane if she did well, and Nane tells her that it was mostly her doing, which makes Lucy really happy. She practically throws her arms around Nane in a hug. Nane then grabs a set of keys and explains that the big one is for the main kitchen, the fork-shaped one is for the pantry, and the little one is for the butler's lockbox. She tells Lucy to return the keys before morning. The maid is overjoyed that she finally gets her hands on these keys. Lucy, who reads a lot of sensational noble stories, asks Nane what she does in the kitchen during the night. Nane replies mischievously, saying it's rather bold of her to ask such a question. But just for her sake, she tells her the truth. She's been having a snacking problem and would be mortified if Isaac ever found out. Lucy promises not to say a word to anyone, though she's secretly convinced that Nane must be doing something shady like drugs this late at night. They finally say their goodbyes, but even then, Nane still can't believe she now gets access to this entire place every night. A few days later, we see the maids whispering among themselves. Nane thinks that the gossip must be incredibly juicy today for them to be talking like this, especially because they usually act dull and lifeless around her. That must mean her plan is working. Earlier, the butler came to Nane and handed her a basket, saying that someone gave it with instructions to deliver it to different departments of the manor staff. She told him that she wasn't sure what he was talking about and assumed it must have been Isaac's cousin who sent it. The maid insists that this must have come from Isaac himself. The maid then tells Nane that she's really lucky to have married him. Nane is glad that she was able to use her skills to brighten up the mood around here, and everyone really does seem much happier today. She spent the last 3 nights baking for fun. She even jokes that she must have gone bankrupt making all this stuff. She ended up baking enough to feed at least a small village. She even eavesdrops on the servants talking, who debate whether they should try the sweets or not because what if they're poisoned? They seriously need to stop borrowing Lucy's novels. Still, one of the maids comments that the muffin she tried was pretty dry. Nane calms herself down, saying it's alright. After all, she's still learning how to use the iron stove. She even burned a whole batch once, but she's still sad about it, because it's just not like her. She starts to note down all the problems she made that night and heads into round 2 of muffin making. She's glad she managed to get this many ingredients without worrying about wasting them. She plans to sit by the oven and watch them rise, because that simple sight brings joy to her. She takes out the muffins and sets them aside to cool for the day. As she walks back to her room, she notices the study room door is open. Inside, she sees Isaac sleeping at his desk while working. She thinks that, once again, she seems to have lost her eyes or at least, her focus. Still, she wonders why he's sleeping like this here. But he looks cute, sleeping like that. At least he isn't glaring at her. She wonders how often he sleeps in this study, and honestly, the place looks really comfy. It seems like the kind of space perfect for an introvert. She thinks that maybe he also deserves a sweet treat. She tiptoes toward him, hoping he doesn't wake up, and places a muffin by his side. She knows that one single muffin won't change his mind about her, but at least it brings her joy to give it to him. Then, she quietly leaves. Meanwhile, Isaac opens his eyes from sleep and sees the muffin sitting on his table. The day of the horse riding competition is drawing near, which means poor Nane still needs to figure out how to ride a horse. But it seems like Charlotte's mind is somewhere else. She tightens Nane's corset a little too much, and when Nane flinches, Charlotte quickly apologizes, explaining that she's a little distracted this morning. Nane notices that Charlotte doesn't look too well and asks her if she wants to take a leave. What she says is simply to take a leave, but what the maids overhear is that she's firing Charlotte. Instantly, panic spreads. Charlotte becomes terrified for her job while the other maids rush to assure Nane that this is not what Charlotte meant, and she's perfectly fine. Even Charlotte bows deeply and apologizes for being distracted this morning. Later that day, Nane tells Lucy everything that happened, including how Charlotte behaved. Lucy tells her that Charlotte is in love. Nane can't believe it. Charlotte, truly in love? Lucy explains further that poor Charlotte keeps getting her heart broken by that stable guy. Charlotte and Finn were childhood friends, and Charlotte seems to be head over heels for him, but he remains very defensive. A few weeks ago, he apparently fell in love with some girl from town, and now he won't stop talking about her. Nane wonders how Lucy knows all this. Lucy tells her that no one really notices her, so she ends up hearing all kinds of conversations. Nane finds it hilarious and mutters that boys like this seem to exist in every era. The two of them share a funny moment. Now, Nane is out there with her horse, because the girls got only 3 days left until the competition. Not only that she can't pretend to be sick and miss this polo match, she really can't afford to miss this one. After all, she needs to make connections to rise in this place. She's literally out here, half begging her horse to listen to her. She introduces herself to the horse, saying she's Nane and swearing that she didn't get into this body from another world. Gustav arrives. She turns to him, explaining how much she really needs him right now, which genuinely shocks him. He says he's trying to honor her request, but still doesn't understand because she was supposed to be the most decorated rider from the countryside. Nane doesn't really know how to lie about this anymore, so she admits that she's not good at all. He asks about the trophies displayed on her wall. She admits that it's a good question, but says they're all fake. He smirks confidently and says he hopes this isn't some excuse just to get him alone. She huffs, saying if he doesn't want to help, he can just say so. He denies saying that, though it definitely seems like she has her own secrets too. He adds that he's flattered she's telling this to him and asks her to follow. He tells her to stay calm, because like all horses, her horse Biscuit can also hear fear. She scoffs at the name, calling it ridiculous. Gustav tells her it's based on his favorite food. She can't believe it. What kind of horse has such terrible taste? He explains that for now, if she wants to pass herself off as a practice rider, she needs to learn how to hold her posture upright without bouncing around. Later, she sits defeated. Gustav admits that he always found it strange that she was considered an equestrian, because in Legatia, this sport is usually pursued solely by men. He tells her he's half Legatian, born in Zeldin, and has lived here for a few years. She asks him if it's been difficult adjusting here. He tells her that she might not remember, but he was hired by Isaac right after the king's death. Legatians did blame Zeldins for that, so he expected the staff to be cold to him, but that wasn't the case. After all, Isaac is the Legatian ambassador to Zeldin. Why would he allow discrimination in his own staff? And on top of that, Gustav is charming and handsome, so why would anyone hate him? Nane mutters incredible under her breath. She's beginning to like him even less than she did 5 seconds ago. Gustav adds that even if they did treat him differently for being Zeldin, it wouldn't have mattered. It's always been his dream to work for a Zeldin diplomat. Nane thinks to herself that if only he could know how this is going to end. She says that it seems like he enjoys being Isaac's footman. He smiles and says that, for now, yes, and then points out that she's riding quite well now, all thanks to him. She starts to ride her horse, saying that this is right, and warns him that if he ever tells anyone, she will call him a liar and have him fired immediately. He simply replies with, "Okay, ma'am." Now we see Finn again, talking about the new girl who's caught his heart. His friend sarcastically reminds him that he felt the same way about the last one. Watching all of this is Nane. She sees that Charlotte is also there, looking heartbroken as she listens in silence. Nane turns to Gustav and says that she would like to ask another favor from him. We see that Nane is peeking at Gustav, who is currently trying his best to lift Charlotte's mood. Just a while ago, she had thought to herself that she might need to study his technique too. He really is good, yes, good at so many things. Seuss had told him that his shameless flirting might be exactly what was needed this time. Now, back to Gustav using his charm, Nane notices that even that F-boy seems to be paying attention too. Charlotte might finally get a revenge. Meanwhile, on the other side, Isaac is speaking to the general. He says that he doesn't think this plan is sustainable. Their aim should be keeping peace at the border, and pushing a stronger military presence could backfire. The general responds that they have no choice, as the princess still refuses to close the border to house brutes. Isaac looks down at the documents in front of him, already having seen that most of the reported crimes happen at night, usually started by drunk, rowdy men who can't even stand up properly. He suggests that a curfew might help, but the general argues that it won't fix anything. The longer they delay, the angrier their people will become. He adds, almost bitterly, that the late king was Isaac's friend too. Isaac glares at him and says this is exactly why he understands better than anyone that starting a senseless war is not the way forward. The general, however, still insists. What does Isaac think they'll gain by waiting? Their enemies in the north, Zeldin, seem to be waiting for an opportunity to strike. Ever since the failed Steel Agreement and the confirmation of Amelia's succession, rumors have spread. Some say she poisoned her own father to take the throne. Having had enough, Isaac sharply asks the general to watch his tongue. But the general scoffs, saying he isn't a fool either. Still, he thinks that if they don't go after the so-called murderer, it will look as if they're cowards. Isaac can see that the man is loyal to a fault, but he makes it clear that his stance on the border will not change. Still, he offers a compromise. He will send a garrison to support the enforcement of the curfew. The general scoffs again, saying it's funny to be making deals with him now, and maybe that's something Nane appreciates about Isaac too. Isaac begins to reflect. He knows exactly what Nane appreciates. Popularity, spotlight, security. He thinks they might have made a good match in theory. With her ability to command a room, he felt like he could finally get a reprieve. They had agreed to marry for their own reasons. He knew her feelings for him were shallow, but that had been fine with him. They wouldn't have rushed into anything serious. But now, there are bigger problems to deal with. Later that night, poor Nane is out again, trying to train with Biscuit. She goes to him gently, begging him to go with her. She even promises not to make fun of his name. She stands between his eyes, thinking that he's such a powerful creature he could kill her if he wanted to. She tells him he doesn't have to worry, he got something for her too. She gives him the biscuit. Just then, she hears that Finn is calling for Charlotte. She says to herself that Gustav has no romantic interest in her. She adds bitterly that this is obvious. Why would anyone have a love interest in her in the first place? She thinks that everyone sees her as naive, clumsy, and plain. She says that it's fine, she's used to it. No one has to care about her at all. But Gustav calls her by name and says that he can't help it, he cares about her a lot. And then he kisses her. Nane, watching all of this unfold, is clearly shocked. She thinks that this was such an unexpected plot twist, but the girl is clearly enjoying it. She turns to Biscuit again, taking out another biscuit and reminding him that she brought him food, so he better act right with her. She begs him to be nice, but oh my god, the horse does not seem to like her at all. He suddenly starts to run at full speed. This throws Nane off completely. He's neighing loudly, and poor Nane falls to the ground. She opens her eyes, confused and dazed, wondering what the hell is happening and if she is going to die again. We see that someone is calling Ally, an old aunt who comes to her, saying that her actual aunt couldn't make it, but she called in her place. She came to let them know that Ally can choose whichever cake she wants. Ally thinks that she is alone again, but at least she's got a cake. She remembers this very clearly. On every birthday, she used to make these cakes with her parents. But ever since her parents died, no one was quite sure how to step up. This is her second birthday without them. She is glad that they died before her. Of course, it would have been much more painful for them if she had gone first. Still, she never stopped missing them. Her mom never complained when she made a bit of a mess in the kitchen, and her dad would always take the things she baked with him to his security guard shifts. Later, He would thank her and give her an honest review, even if it was just a sticky note. She wanted to keep baking to keep their memory alive, but it was really lonely for her. Still, there's a cherry on top. While she's moving, she bumps into someone and all her cake falls. She thinks she can fix it, but ends up starting to cry. Back to Nane, who is now half awake. She wonders where her cake is. She also wonders if she's dreaming and why she's on a horse. Isaac asks her if she's awake. She pokes him to check if she's dreaming again. She gets dizzy. He gives up because she's about to fall again. She sighs and asks what exactly happened. He tells her that she fell off the horse and hit her head. She asks him if he really saved her life. He sighs and says that she would have survived even if he didn't come, but she's glad that he brought her horse, because she really can't afford an ambulance right now. She mumbles that this stuff is really confusing, and wonders if people here don't die from concussions. He tells her that there are doctors at the manor and that she wasn't going to die. She starts spouting nonsense, saying she was about to die but not her horse, and he doesn't even seem to care at all. It's really tragic. But Isaac seems to find it funny that she's saying things like this. Lately, he also seems to feel like she's become someone else. She remembers that this is right after all, Nane was cheating on him. She was a great horse rider, born in a countryside kingdom, and also really charming. She says to him that this is what one gets after marrying a star. It seems like he really is showing some major red flags, but she's sure he must have loved something about her. She says she's sorry that they replaced his real wife. They finally reach the manor. She says to him that she went head first, and if she's going to die, he sighs for what feels like the 10th time, telling her again that she's not going to die. She tells him that it's easy for him to say that, after all, she died once in that cliff too. He tries to tell her to stop being so dramatic. She says she needs to show him what actually dramatic looks like. A murmur rises among the people. Some are chanting in worry, convinced that something is seriously wrong with Nane. However, others argue that the doctor had already assured them everything was fine. Nane slowly begins to stir, her head throbbing painfully as she blinks against the harsh light. For a moment, she wonders, is she in a hospital? The room feels distant, like she's emerging from a coma. Around her, voices hush each other, urging silence so no one else wakes up. But it's too late. Nane is already awake. Akira quickly approaches, asking if she's alright, mentioning that the doctor had checked on her earlier that morning. Nane stares blankly, her mind foggy. She wonders what exactly happened because the last she remembers, everyone, including herself, had been acting strangely. Visiting the servants, wandering aimlessly, it's all a blur. She doesn't recall any of it clearly. A maid beside her exhales with relief and gently says it's understandable. They all figured something like this might happen. Nane finds it oddly amusing, the idea that the bump on her head might have actually changed her personality. And then, like a lightning bolt of inspiration, it hits her. Why hadn't she thought of this sooner? She sits up suddenly, excitement in her voice. She tells the maid she's had a realization, a lot of things have become clear to her. And more than anything, she just wants to say one thing: she's truly thankful. For all of them. This moment, this accident, it's the perfect excuse. She hit her head, and now she's a completely different person. Tears prick her eyes, tears of joy. Finally, she can stop pretending to be the cruel, cold girl everyone feared. Now, maybe she can actually make some friends. But just as she tries to stand, the room spins. She's dizzy, her body not yet ready to cooperate. Hopefully this isn't actual brain damage, she thinks wryly. Meanwhile, the maids and aides watch her with uncertainty. They're still not convinced that this new Nane is the real deal. But she brushes it off. As one of the aides opens the door for her, she thanks him warmly, something that makes the other maid open her mouth in shock. As she steps out, Nane sees Isaac waiting for her to have tea. Of course, she thinks. Out of all the days, this man had to choose now to have tea with me? It's awkward, this man who pretends to be her husband, but secretly can't stand her. Nane wonders if she can blame her current confusion on amnesia. Maybe she can pull it off. She really doesn't remember much about last night anyway, and what little she does remember seems chaotic. Still, she knows deep down that she can't keep pretending forever. Just thinking about the past, the affairs, the lies, makes her feel sick. Isaac, trying to keep the mood steady, tells her that he hopes her wishes for the new day will grow and come true. She nods faintly, saying she needs rest. After all, if her injury is serious, she won't be able to participate in the upcoming match. She delivers this line with the right amount of disappointment, as if it's tragic news. But inside, she knows she'll just blow them off during the fancy dinner party. Isaac, however, has a different take. He suggests they skip the entire event altogether. That catches her off guard. She flusters, raising her voice, insisting they absolutely cannot cancel. She quickly apologizes, admitting she didn't mean to react so strongly, it's just that she's been under a lot of stress lately. She tells him she was actually looking forward to this one party. Besides, she argues, it would be rude to cancel at the last minute. Isaac sighs, agreeing it would be rude, but he also wonders what exactly excites her so much about this party. If it's just to see one of her special friends, he'd rather she endure public humiliation than make a fool of them both. He tells her he doesn't care what she does in her free time, but in public, she needs to act in a way that won't damage his image. Nane responds gently, assuring him that she truly has ended her affairs with her pen pals. She never intended to win his favor again, but he had carried her home the other night. That act meant something. She says she knows they hardly know each other, but being stuck in that bed gave her time to reflect. And now, she realizes many of the assumptions she had made about him weren't fair at all. She apologizes, then adds something hopeful: she wants to get to know him better. Isaac, a man known more for diplomacy than sentiment, listens quietly. When he first proposed to her, he says, he had believed her to be the most surprising woman in the court. But even he, as a seasoned diplomat, admits he misjudged her. She will have to forgive him for not trusting her fully. Then he adds that if the party still excites her, she can go by all means. From the beginning, their marriage had been one of mutual convenience, after all. Nane smiles. But what if, she says, we could be more than that? She's still smiling as she suggests it wouldn't hurt to be good friends, right? She knows, of course, that first she must earn his trust again. And beyond that, she wants to make things right with the servants. For better or worse, she doesn't want to be the woman he married, not that version of herself. She isn't trying to replace anyone, but she wants to live happily with everyone here, including him. And so, little by little, Nane begins to see a path forming before her, a chance to change the story. Today is the big FUA, the long-anticipated one-dish party, and finally, the day has arrived. Nane is excited, dressed, and prepared, but Isaac has been giving her the cold shoulder all morning. She notices it clearly but tries to brush it off. Why should she care if he's angry? She isn't about to let him ruin her day. Isaac makes it abundantly clear that whatever peace they seemed to have the other day doesn't mean they're suddenly on good terms again. Still, Nane holds her head high. Her lemon bars turned out perfectly, and she's confident they'll be a hit at the party. Trying to lighten the tension, she offers one of the lemon bars to Isaac, asking if he would like to try it. He responds curtly, saying he heard the chef had strict orders to only make crepes, and asks whether she overburdened the staff with this new pastry. Nane, slightly offended but still composed, swears on whatever they believe in that she made them entirely on her own. No kitchen maid was harmed in the making of these lemon bars. Isaac is visibly surprised. He hadn't expected her to do something so hands-on herself. She tells him that if he truly doesn't want to try it, she'd at least like an honest review. Isaac admits that he wouldn't be a good critic, he's never even tasted lemon before. That makes Nane genuinely sad, though she tries to hide it. As they arrive at the venue, she mentally prepares herself to take down all the other dishes with her own skills. But as time passes, no one is buying anything from her table except, ironically, the crepes. Then the Duke and Duchess arrive, the most powerful judges of the event. Nane wants to approach them because they're the only ones who could truly help her. But she hesitates. She doesn't know them, and now, with Isaac nowhere in sight, she's suddenly alone. One half of the couple, the lady, approaches her with a mocking smile. She asks if Nane really intends to skip the match. How could she pass up such an opportunity? Nane tries to stay calm, saying it was on the doctor's orders. But she silently wonders what this woman's issue is. Why does she hate me so much? Still, Nane manages to slip a lemon bar to the man beside the woman. Just as he's about to try it, the lady slaps it out of his hand, claiming it looks unhealthy. Nane is speechless. Can they even do that? Are lemon bars truly that offensive? Now, no one is buying from her at all. One woman even whispers that she and her husband wouldn't eat something like that, not even for Nane's favor. It's disheartening. Nane starts to feel like this is going just as horribly as the time her ex didn't even tell his family they were dating. If she were to judge how badly things were going based on how many lemon bars are left in her basket, well, she'd say she's heading straight for a beheading. But things somehow get worse. One of her old lovers appears, greeting her with a smug smile and asking when they can meet again. He even kisses her hand. Nane shoves him away immediately, telling him to get out of her life forever. She dashes off in frustration, and unfortunately, Isaac sees everything. But just as she's catching her breath, another of her former flings appears waiting, watching. It's becoming overwhelming. Nane hates to admit it, but Isaac had been right. Coming here really was a mistake. She wonders just how many men did she seduce with these cursed crepes. Then, in her rush, she bumps into someone. Her basket goes tumbling to the ground. The woman she collided with immediately apologizes, but Nane quickly assures her that it was entirely her fault for not looking where she was going. Thankfully, her desserts are intact. The woman, stunning and composed, asks Nane what these sweets are. She's never seen anything like them before. Nane explains that they're lemon bars and asks if she'd like to try one. To her delight, the woman does and genuinely enjoys it. Nane, who rarely receives compliments without suspicion, is thrilled by the praise. The woman tells her this is the first good thing she's tried all day. She adds that she arrived late, so she hadn't had a chance to meet anyone yet, but she's truly glad to meet Nane. Nane finds her beautiful and surprisingly kind. She doesn't even know her name, yet she feels genuinely at ease in her company. She's grateful that the woman isn't here as another aristocrat ready to tear her down, but as someone she could maybe talk to. She's also relieved to find out that the woman is a diplomat. Perhaps this means Nane can get some idea of how to navigate this minefield of a party and avoid getting metaphorically, or literally, beheaded. She admits to herself that she may be exaggerating, but still she needs a win. Badly. So far, she's learned that she's hated by every woman here. The only man who doesn't want her is her own husband, and she probably should have researched the venue better because Legacia, as it turns out, is surrounded on all sides by danger. In short, she's completely screwed. Just then, she hears a familiar voice. It's that attractive man from earlier. And another familiar voice joins him. It's Isaac. She hears him say to a woman, Amelia, that he can't do this right now. Nane freezes, heart pounding. Princess Amelia? She still can't believe that she met the web novel's main character without even realizing it. Isaac says to Amelia that this wasn't the name submitted to the council. She replies firmly that the council has nothing to do with it. Nane, who has been quietly enjoying this juicy conversation, notes to herself that he hasn't looked at her the same way since she told him that. Nane remembers this moment clearly. It was the first time Amelia had admitted that she loved him. Isaac sighs, recalling that she later denied it. He had accepted that, especially on his wedding day. Seuss whispers to him that she knows the timing was terrible, but Nane, who is a hopeless romantic, feels like this makes it even more meaningful. She had blocked out this part of the novel. Amelia had not been in a good place. Her brother had just died, there were riots in the streets, and she had picked up the dress she was supposed to wear to Isaac's wedding. She had felt like she was going to lose him too. She had just wanted a chance to explain things to him, but he had been avoiding her ever since. She just wanted to say that when she told him she loved him, she meant it like a friend, not romantically. But Nane knows she is lying. Even in the web novel, despite the Drifter arc tearing them apart, Amelia was still in love with him. Isaac holds Seuss's hand gently, and Nane wonders if they're about to kiss. She feels shy, unsure if she should even be here. As much as she wanted this web novel to be adapted into a movie, now everything feels surreal. She remembers how in the novel, Amelia took back her confession, thinking it would save their friendship, but it had always been obvious that Isaac hadn't gotten over her either. He even confessed that to her on her wedding day. Now, she finds herself being called over by the Duke. She tells them that she is genuinely glad to have met them, that she had been looking forward to it the entire party. The Duchess says it seemed like she didn't want to participate in the polo match, which she had been excited about just to see her. She then asks if they can try her pastry. Nane tells her that she can have as much as she wants. The Duchess is delighted and says the lemon tart is absolutely amazing. She even insists her husband try it. The Duke protests that he's on a diet, but the Duchess brushes it off, insisting that he is too handsome to worry about dieting. Nane sighs at the sight. It really does seem like the two of them are genuinely in love, unlike some people she knows. Hearing this, several others come to Nane asking if they can also try the lemon tarts. She gladly lets them take as much as they like. Finally, she is done making others try her lemon tea and tarts. She feels relieved that they all enjoyed it a lot. Her efforts have paid off. Though she still thinks her efforts were a little silly, she reflects that poor Amelia had to run an entire country with a broken heart. She wonders if anything would have been different better if Isaac and Amelia had ended up together. She is about to get closer to the royal court of Zeldan in a few months. Amelia is truly a good girl and incredibly amazing, but she doesn't want a girl in her 20s to end up wasting her life on a broken man, hoping she'll fix him. The king of Zeldin had seduced Amelia with his deep voice and his powerful build, only to use her and then marry someone else. Nane thinks that if only Isaac had returned Amelia's feelings, things would have been so much easier. But suddenly, a new idea strikes her. What if Amelia never falls for that Zeldin king at all? That way, she would never be betrayed by him. And the only way to ensure that is to make Isaac and Amelia end up together. Maybe Nane can do more than just save herself. Maybe she could stop a war. That would be the price of breaking her web novel marriage, but it would all be worth it. She's pulled from her thoughts when the Duke approaches her again. He asks her what she's doing here, all nervous and flustered in such close proximity. She tells him she just came out for some fresh air. The Duke then says the very thing he had once intended to say to her, but adds that now, he doesn't know how he can, when she takes his breath away. She is all confused, thinking this can't possibly be happening. Of all people, this man is acting like this just because she thought he liked his wife? And on top of that, what the hell was Nane even thinking, giving some of her time to this old man? She smacks him with her basket, telling him to get away from her. The Duke scoffs, wondering if this is why she's acting like this, because he was thinking about why she didn't respond to his letter. It's good for him anyway, as he likes chase. But just in time, Isaac arrives and grabs him down. Even Nane is shocked to see him here. Isaac says to the Duke that he always thought he was a scoundrel, and he's glad he followed his instincts. The Duke stands up, admitting that Isaac does seem to say impressive words, which reminds him that Isaac is also called a bastard. But here comes Nane's lemon tart straight to the Duke's face to shut him up. Isaac doesn't seem to see if that was really necessary, and this makes the Duke angry. But Isaac steps forward, saying to the Duke that if it were him, he wouldn't be so calm because he met his wife, who was looking for him. Isaac would be happy to tell her like this, but if the Duke wants, they can keep this topic off Nane. Nane thinks that this is the first time she's actually happy to see Isaac. Things could have gone terribly wrong, but again, it still looks pretty from the outside. And now Isaac's divorce eyes are back. Isaac asks her if he laid hands on her, but she assures him that she's all fine. She cleans her skirt, as she got some cake on it, and then says that they are leaving now. In the carriage, she thanks him for helping her and says she hopes he didn't get his hand hurt. She never knew what to expect from him, but she wonders if he thinks she was trying to seduce the Duke. He only says that he has one question for her, that many people at the party said her lemon tart is really amazing, and he wonders if he could have a taste. This makes her really shout inside, and she says to him that of course he can. But, ops, she already ran out of all the lemon tarts. She remembers that she had only one left and she threw it at the Duke's face. She asks him what his favorite dessert or flavor is, as she would love to make something for him. He points out that it's no surprise she doesn't know this. He reminds her that it's dark chocolate and that's why it was on their wedding cake. She smiles like she forgot. She's glad that it's good that he forgave her, and after all this, it will be good to save everyone's lives. She just needs happen to make Isaac and Amelia end up together without getting herself exiled. Now we see that she is getting rid of all the letters. She is reading all the smut, yet thinking that she might find a clue about how Nane actually was. But her knee jerks when there was flirting too. What? Like an invitation of flirting, and for what? A personal loan? Flirting to get expensive jewelry or clothes? But her attention goes to one of the letters. The letter reads only gibberish, but then she notices the Zeldin royal stamp on it. We see that Isaac is working when he keeps thinking about what the Duke said to him. Even his last memories come to haunt him, memories of being called a weakling and a bastard. He fists his hand, wondering why he even cares what others think of him. He really thought that he made a good decision to marry her, but it seems like that was actually a poor one. He thinks that she really can't love him for the sake of something so slim. But who knows, maybe she indeed might get rid of all her affairs. He thinks that she sure does seem like a different person these days. But he turns away from that thought, telling himself that he knows better than to trust anyone's words, as human desire can change at any moment. Now we see that Nane is looking into a book, and the seal mark really does look somewhat like the one in the book, but it looks rather janky. Gustav comes from behind, saying to her that it's rather unexpected to meet her here, and asks what she is reading. She calls him Dusty Donuts and says that he can't just come and sneak up on people like that. He says to her that he's sorry and that he can leave if she's reading something important. She says to him that it's good that he's here and asks if he has ever seen any seal like the one in the book. She says that her guess is that it must be a forgery if it's even slightly altered. Gustav takes the book from her and asks her where she saw it and if she had seen it, Then where exactly? Now the nope vibes go off. Gustav asks her why she doesn't show it to him, so maybe he can verify it for her or drop it altogether. But she lies, saying she doesn't have anything of that sort and that she was just wondering since she heard some diplomat talking about it at the party. She says that now, maybe it's time she takes her leave. While walking, she thinks about why he was acting like that. She is sure that he clearly recognized it and wonders if it was some kind of code. And why the hell would a nobleman have something like that in his memory? It's crazy how many secrets she's gotten wrapped up in again. She's feeling like she is still steps behind in the story she has read, and now she's thinking that maybe she really shouldn't have skipped all those boring political talks. But again, the reader usually only reads the romance part. Still, she's got only one person she can ask about it, and that is Isaac. After all, he is the smartest, and he has been studying Zeldan and legation history for a decade. Nane wonders how she can possibly get on Isaac's good side. Now, we see her in the kitchen, trying to make something. She recalls Isaac once telling her that he likes chocolate, and that their wedding cake had been of the same flavor. She thinks to herself that there's no way the real Nane would have remembered such a detail. Even Amelia, who had been close to him, was never truly able to understand Isaac, and it had taken her a long time to get him to open up. She's making cookies, but good heavens, she's absolutely crumbling under pressure. There's smoke everywhere. As she frantically tries to salvage the situation, she sees Lucy standing nearby. Nane asks her what she's doing here. Lucy tells her that she sleeps down there. Nane is confused and asks what she means by that. Lucy explains that the head maid locks the upstairs door if she returns late from her duties, and apparently, it's meant to teach her a lesson. Nane gets teary-eyed hearing this. She finds it incredibly cruel and hurtful. Lucy then asks her what she was making or trying to make. Nane coughs awkwardly and says she was attempting some really good experimental dark chocolate recipe. Lucy can instantly tell it must be for Isaac. After all, everyone knows that only Isaac likes dark chocolate. Nane admits that's right, saying only an idiot wouldn't know that by now. Lucy asks her if she can learn how to make it too. She thinks that if she manages to cook something Isaac actually likes, even Frances might finally upgrade her rank. She insists that Nane doesn't have to give her a real lesson or anything structured, she'll just watch. Nane is more than happy to let Lucy help out, especially since bossing her around seems to be her new favorite pastime. After 3 hours of great effort and chaotic teamwork, they finally manage to make something. Nane isn't really sure what it is, but it seems edible and maybe even yummy. She's all excited and confident that Isaac is going to like it. She thinks that if she can get him to talk about Zeldan, then maybe she'll be able to figure out something crucial, perhaps even about the mysterious letter. This tea day, she arrives all prepared for Isaac's tea time, but the girl is being completely ignored by him. Still, she grins, knowing she has an ace up her sleeve. Then come the desserts. She hopes he likes them, but oh no, a very stunning lady is already seated, and the table is crowded with delicious treats. Yet, he hasn't even glanced at them. Finally, Isaac turns to her and asks if she wants something or if she's planning to stare him down like this the entire afternoon. She reacts, flustered, not staring, just hoping to talk to him. More like friends, she thinks. But Isaac questions what kind of friends start conversations with, "Oh, my lovely husband," or "Oh, my lovely wife." At this point, even she isn't sure how things are going. He touches her arm and wonders aloud if she's trying to seduce him, maybe hoping to lure him into her bed since life must be awfully boring for her without her lovers. She's genuinely confused. What on earth is this man talking about? She tells him she isn't trying to seduce him. If anything, she wants them to at least learn to tolerate each other. It's getting your stuck with me energy. She lets him know that she's not here to tease or tempt, but genuinely hopes they can have a conversation about Zeldan politics. He asks why, now of all times, considering she used to openly find his work dull. She admits that maybe she was a dumb girl in the past, but now, she really wants to know what's going on with all this war talk. She's practically flattering him, saying he's the smartest person she knows. In truth, she already knows that war is inevitable, but what matters more is understanding Isaac's position, what he thinks about it all. He tells her that whether or not they go to war depends on what suits Zeldan the most. She asks if they're cruel and opportunistic. He admits they are certainly opportunistic, but he can't say for sure whether they're cruel. When he was first appointed as ambassador, he traveled to the border and witnessed their gladiator tournament. The Zeldans are infamous for it. It's a fight to the death until one yields, though very few ever do. Watching it was difficult. That's when he began to think that their reputation for violence existed for a reason. He continues rambling about some historical matter involving Turku, which she finds really boring. But then she notices he's finally reaching for the muffin. Her eyes gleam as she watches him take a bite, wondering whether he likes it. She mutters that regardless of all the history, the situation is really complicated. There's a lack of respect on both sides, mostly due to ignorance. He explains that the Zeldans honor value, strength, and most importantly community. Their people have great loyalty for their king and queen, and the feeling is mutual. That's why they could be considered the third great enemy, especially when looking at their history. She finally brings up the emblem and tells him she must have seen it in a book. She affirms that yes, of course, she read about it. The emblem with the crossed swords doesn't usually represent a duel. But he cuts in, saying of course it does. She insists that no, it's actually a man kneeling, and someone crossing two swords in front of him. Isaac points out that it's a ritual they perform before beginning the match. She agrees, but adds that she heard they do it to honor the emblem. She then asks what he would think if the roles were reversed on the emblem. He says it could be an error or perhaps a cipher, a secret coded message. He remarks that she seems interested in things like this and wonders whether he should be worried, or maybe proud, or whether she's planning to encrypt her lover's letters. She replies that she was just wondering if some of the rumors about Zeldan are exaggerated. He tells her that the princess believes things can be solved through dialogue. That's why she's planning to meet the Zeldan king in 2 weeks. She bursts upright in shock and exclaims that he can't let that happen. Isaac simply blinks and asks what? What? She really isn't sure how to explain this to him. She tries to remind him that he himself once said the Zeldans can't be trusted. She points out what if the Zeldan king deceives the princess. Isaac assures her that he has warned the princess, and that it's ultimately up to her judgment. Yet again, the princess doesn't seem like someone who would get tricked so easily. She isn't the unprepared successor people think she is, and she has been tutored by the best teachers. Nane thinks that he speaks so highly of her. After all, the last talk they had turned into a heated argument. She starts to believe that this must be true love, so getting them together should be a piece of cake. She's always been a sucker for childhood lovers, and she knows they'd known each other since childhood and have gone through a lot together. She's glad they had each other, even after losing their families. She asks Isaac how often he sees Amelia and whether they meet after work too, outside of official matters. Isaac tells her that aside from council meetings, they don't really meet that frequently. Nane thinks that's a shame. She's sure Amelia must miss him a lot and adds that he really should look after her, especially during this time. She's much more vulnerable than he realizes, and he wouldn't want anyone to take advantage of her. She even mentions that Adam and she were such great friends too, so they should be together in each other's pain. Isaac does believe that the Zeldan king might have a secret agenda, regardless of what he says or does. Nane is incredibly proud of his good instincts. She insists that he must be present when the Zeldan king comes to meet Amelia, and that he should watch him like a hawk. Even in the web novel, she remembers Isaac warning Amelia not to trust the Zeldan king, but the story made it seem like he was just jealous. Then Amelia went to meet the king without Isaac and ended up getting seduced without even knowing it. But even if Isaac was jealous, he had been right all along. That's why they need to put an instant wedge between Amelia and the Zeldan king, and it's not just any political move, but love. Isaac admits that her ideas aren't that bad, and at the risk of everything, he thinks he has to say these desserts are really yummy. Nane is honestly glad that he's enjoying them. Isaac teases her, saying she's not so sure they're good and shouldn't push her luck. Then, she notices something on his face. He asks her what's wrong, and she starts to laugh, saying it must be a little embarrassing for him. She asks him to hold still and wipes his face. Just like that, he's back to being handsome. He watches her and wonders if that was really necessary. She can see that he's blushing now, but it makes her wonder, did she cross a line, fate, or maybe just her impulsiveness gets the best of her again. She can't help but wipe that dumb face of his. She knows she used to do things like this whenever she liked someone, but it's fine. He might not have even noticed how deep that moment really was. But then he thanks her and wow, it turns out it was super effective. Now, he can't even look at her straight. And holy cheesecake, this is really awkward now. Back in the library, she remembers what Isaac told her. She thinks again about the crossed swords they're reversed. She wonders if maybe the letter was just upside down, but that's not the case. So, she starts reversing the order of the Zeldan alphabet and reassigns each letter to its corresponding placement in this new reversed order. Now, when she looks at it, it seems like a date. She starts writing and finds that it's super easy for her to solve this. It looks like coordinates on a map, a location, and a date. She whispers to herself that now it's time to turn their swords. She wonders if the message is trying to say that they're planning to do this to her country. Her thoughts spiral. Could Nane be the spy on the Zeldan crown? Girl, you better put that shirt on right away. Now we see that Isaac is half naked, sparring with Gustav while the maids are fangirling over him from the side. The servants are placing their bets on Gustav, since he's always training and is genuinely skilled with a sword. As they exchange blows, Isaac's eyes shift for a moment. He notices Nane passing that way. Taking advantage of his distraction, Gustav tries to land a hit with one hand. Isaac blocks it, making Gustav think that it was an impressive defense. He even believes he might have lost a hand if it hadn't been blocked properly. Isaac, however, is lost in thought. Louise had told him earlier that Nane was supposed to be out shopping today, and he had been worried she really has no concept of money. But now, he's wondering why she brought that particular maid with her. On top of that, they don't seem to have taken a carriage. Did they actually walk here? He's never seen her spending time with the servants unless it's to terrify them. He wonders if she's truly capable of making friends, but then again, maybe she's trying to manipulate that maid into holding her shopping bags back to the manor. Just then, Nane's eyes meet Isaac's. She freezes on the spot, while Lucy waves enthusiastically at Isaac. Seeing her reaction, Isaac is now sure that she's up to something. After all, she's been ignoring him all week, acting cold and distant. But who's going to tell him that, bro, you're half naked right now and she's clearly faking being in love with you? Never mind. He turns back to Gustav and says that's enough for today, although his mind is still preoccupied with the fact that she really didn't take a carriage. Nane, on the other hand, is thinking that was a close call. She's definitely not ready to face him yet. But she still can't believe that Isaac thinks she's a spy from Zeldan. Lucy turns to Nane and casually asks if she saw that Isaac was basically naked, saying that mental image from the first night is definitely coming back. Nane swats at her, teasingly telling her to stop thinking nonsense. Lucy keeps on teasing, saying it was a nice date but wonders if Nane is planning to be someone's mistress now. Nane thinks to herself that it's actually a good thing not to date employees. She had deliberately chosen this route, making sure all the staff were male and even Isaac himself, just so she could get to that secret location unnoticed. She knows the meeting is tonight, and she has no idea what the consequences will be if she doesn't attend. She's torn. Betraying one's husband is one thing, but betraying the country is another. She reflects that the real Nane was truly a badass evil, yes, but a badass nonetheless. Still, this whole thing is seriously dangerous. Life-threatening, even. She tells herself she has to handle it the right way, like a good person would. But she also thinks it's not really wrong to cheat on Isaac, since it's not like she married him willingly in the first place. She reads over the location again and thinks that if she heads north from this point, she might reach the destination. But if she doesn't memorize the route properly, she might not be able to find her way back. Just then, Isaac appears behind her, asking what the hell she's doing here. She jumps in fright, practically screaming. She quickly hides the letter behind her back and starts bombarding him with random questions like whether his shirt button fell off because his abs are really popping right now. She tells him she was just about to go ride Biscuit. Isaac points out that the stable boy told him she hasn't ridden the horse since the day she fell off. She quickly grabs some grass for Biscuit, claiming she's been busy with other things. Then, in a desperate move, she hides the letter in the handful of grass, silently praying that Biscuit will eat the evidence. She tries to convince Isaac that she's just been working hard to keep the manor running smoothly and checking with the servants if they had any complaints. Isaac finds this very thoughtful and assumes she's genuinely trying to manage the estate. But just as Biscuit starts chewing, Isaac notices part of the page being eaten. Panicking, Nane tries to shift the conversation to something else, but oh no. She trips on her dress and lands straight onto his sculpted chest. Isaac is caught off guard, wondering what she wants to talk about now. She hurriedly says it's about their current sleeping arrangements. It is really awkward, as she genuinely can't say anything else in that moment. He mocks her, reminding her that just the other day she was telling him she's not trying to seduce him. She snaps back that she really isn't. She steps back, eyes lingering on his abs, then points out that if she were really trying to seduce him, he would have known. So he's like, then what is she doing? She can see that she has dug this grave for herself and now has to lie in it. She turns away, saying that it's a really good question. She just felt bad that he's sleeping in his office. He asks if she's trying to say she wants him back in the master bedroom with her. She gets all flustered, definitely not with her. All blushing, She clarifies that what she means is that she can move to the guest wing, and he can move back to the master room. He touches her, asking if she's alright, as he's never seen her this nervous. He can see that this is all part of her trying to be a better person, but tells her she can relax, he's not going to kick her out of that room. Besides, it's good this way, as it doesn't draw attention to their marriage. And as far as everyone knows, they still think the two of them are deeply devoted to each other. He says that he works until morning, so it's better if they sleep separately since he wouldn't want to disturb her. He adds that they can't let gossip start either, as it could be damaging to their image. And he has no doubt that this would Zeldin would use anything in court against them. She really had no idea he had given this much thought, but it makes sense he has been strategic this whole time. He says he doesn't mind moving back, but now is not the time to, do that thing. He smirks, asking if she's thinking the same. And she's like, of course. But deep down, the fluster isn't really about his naked body. Isaac is really enjoying this, seeing her all nervous. Maybe it even turns him on. He thinks that she is really driving him crazy these days. Now we see that poor Nane is stuck tumbling at the coddling, and it has been 2 hours. She can't stop thinking about wild stuff. She wonders if she really has to sleep with him now. But first, she can't even tell if it's just sleeping or sleeping together. She knows he hates her, but again, she is charming, so it's impossible for him to resist her. Honestly, she thinks that it's expected. After all, they might not be married properly, but they can still do that. But what if he asks for kids? She thinks about it, but she really needs to stick to her plan to get Amelia and him together. Until then, she must do 2 things, not die and not charm her husband's pants down. She is now back to the biscuits, who seem to be angry. She force feeds him the carrot to eat. Actually, it's a consolation because she is about to do something that might kill her. So now, she is riding him. She reaches the place, and any minute someone might appear here. But something drops from the side. She wonders if this is some kind of bomb. She pokes it with a branch, wishing it's not a bomb. She opens it, and it is basically instructions to deliver this to a location and return within 2 days. She wonders if she should just go now. The next day, she heads to the town and drops the package at the given address. The coachman falls, and mysteriously, Gustav is there to drop her off. But the good thing is that he's easily distracted, and she has to admit it was a lot easier than she thought, which makes her think, why is she not happy about it? Once again, she feels like she's in some spy movie. 2 days later, she again gets the same instructions, and now it's more like she is turning into a delivery girl. At this point, every day she is doing the same thing. She can't believe it. When did she actually become their enemy's mailbox? She opens the letter, ready to see what it could be this time. It turns out to be instructions to transcribe Isaac's latest letter from the general and deliver it. She's got 2 days. She is shocked because this means she will have to go to Isaac. Then we see that Nane is seeing him the next day. He asks her what the meaning of all this is. She says to him that, as he is going away for a few days, she wanted to prepare something for him so he can eat during his travels. She gives him all dark chocolate things, as if that's her way of expressing care. She also prepares a lemon cake for Amelia. She says that he needs to give it to her. She knows his diplomacy work is important, but she is sure Amelia is going to love it too. But what he doesn't know is that she has also added a card inside, one that says, "I'm the anchor of Isaac," that he always misses her. She also gives food for the coachman, adding a note to take care of Isaac, making Isaac really confused, wondering what kind of girl this is and where her confidence comes from. She nods them goodbye, and since he's now gone, she sneaks out of the house that night. Maybe she's lucky because Lucy gave her the spare key to the butler's lock, but she really can't believe that she has to do this. Even so, she's carrying this moral dilemma that she has to sell her own house's secrets to someone. She really doesn't care about Legacia, but she doesn't want her current actions to hurt anyone either. This might just be a book in her life or not. In this world, people are actually living these lives. She hears a voice from inside. She sees that there is no one, but then, from behind, someone puts a hand over her mouth. It's Gustav. He says he's caught her and asks what she's doing here this late at Isaac's study. He even takes the keys from her, saying it doesn't seem like they belong to her. She gets enraged, saying that she can go wherever she wants. After all, it is her house. And it seems like he's the one who needs to explain what he is doing this late at Isaac's office. He says to her that she's got good tactics. He really was wondering where the key went, and in the end, he had to unlock the door himself. She gets all flustered, asking what he's talking about since she didn't steal anything. He tells her to drop the act. He really expected her to be a better liar. He then takes out the letter and says she must have been looking for this. She lies to him again, saying she's not sure what he's talking about. He asks if she wasn't asked to copy the last letter conversation between Isaac and the general. She trembles, saying she doesn't know what he's talking about. He explains to her what she's been writing, and they send him to keep an eye on her. He couldn't figure out what they saw in her at first, but then she showed him that seal. She asks him if they mean Isaac, but he smiles and says that it should be pretty obvious that they're on the same side. She finally understands the situation. Gustav points out that who would have known two spies would be living under the same roof? He adds that he's really impressed that she got this great title from them, and they usually don't give such big tasks to newbies. It makes her wonder if Nane really sought to betray Legacia, and what would she do it for? Which makes this Nane not the real Nane, but the one who made her life miserable. She says to him that she doesn't owe him any explanation. He says she really doesn't need to, because the story writes itself. She's the country girl, barely a noble by blood, and is hiding her own disownment. He adds that they must have asked her to marry a good political figure, and now that she's done that, they're asking her to fold. He laughs that it was fun knowing about her, and it was really fun trying to seduce her too. She does give him credit that he is really good at seducing women. He asks if she's finally admitting that she's the information agent of Zeldin. He says she really needs to stop acting, because it seems like their spy master must have given them the same task. She asks if that person is the one who is holding all these bags and the letter to take. He nods at this. He takes his leave, saying that their spy master must be having a lot of fun and that they'll definitely meet him tomorrow now that they are both heading to that location. When their spy master from the words finally arrives, he says that Nane should know from here there is no turning back. And then, that master finally comes out. So this is their master. Kinda handsome, she'll admit. She really wants to bite him. Oh, this was the man who made her a mailbox. His name is Siri, and he's really glad to get her face to face. He asks her if he's as scary as she imagined him to be. She's kind of scared. Why? Because to her, he seems more like a fool. His skin is really flawless. She gives him that letter. He takes it, and from here, it is official. She is the traitor. The correspondent seems innocent when she reads the letter, but who knows what kind of incriminating information it must be holding. But to their surprise, Siri burns the letter. She's like, what the hell is this guy doing? She whispers to Gustav, didn't he say this letter was really important? She copied it 3 times so that she wouldn't make any mistakes. And what about all those packages she delivered? Were they really just groceries? Gustav is like, why is she calling him out for this? Siri speaks, saying that they've done good research on her. Surely, she can understand why they did this. They needed to know if she was trustworthy. They know that she's got a long history of lying, cheating, and that she contacted them. Despite knowing her frustration and anger toward Legacia, it was to see if she is really loyal to the King of Zeldin and if she's capable of following instructions. She can see now that Nane must have contacted them after they placed Gustav as their spy. 2 spies for her hot husband, and Nane must have probably been gathering intel on 2 high-profile noblemen to impress the Zeldin court. Hence the affairs. But now that they are introducing Gustav and her to each other, they must have another big reason for that. Siri assures them that the days of menial tasks are over. He says to them that time isn't on their side anymore, and he has a task for Nane. Nane really hates being right all the time. He tells her that there's a royal event coming, Legacia's annual solstice ball. Amelia and all her court members will be there, and he needs as much intel as they can get from the guest list to the venue layout. She says to him that this is really a big job. He says it's easy if she gets on the party planning team. She thinks that she can do it. Not that she should do it. But again, does she even have a choice? She says to him that this is a waste of talent, but she's all in to do it, if that's what he needs. Siri says okay. Then, in the name of the Zeldin King, he thanks her. There's no going back now. She thinks, ugh, this whole spy thing is scary, but kind of fun. She can even add this to her resume. But she needs to play it cool. Because finally, she remembers this sort of thing from the book. Siri told them everything, but he left out a pretty big detail as a surprise to everyone. Amelia also invited the Zeldin King. Her advisors really tried to warn her about this. She wanted people to know that she stood with the people. Due to the belief that it was Zeldin who killed their king, she wasn't going to listen to such things. Naturally, the legation court's attitude toward him was hostile. And when things became heated, Amelia stood for him. And after the party, the Zeldin King thanked her privately, which was kind of hot. He pulled her into this dark, moonlit room and then he kissed her. Their first kiss. And after that, he invited her to the Zeldan court where they met again for peace discussions. And to prove his loyalty, he gave her one of the most cherished heirlooms, a priceless jewel said to be the heart of Zeldan. It was called a nutsack. She accepted his invitation. She really needs to stop that kiss. And when she goes to the Zeldan palace, that's where his true seduction strategy begins. On her final day there, he finally proposes to her only to invade her country on their wedding day and to kill Isaac and Nane. She wonders, did she get killed because she was too timing? Or maybe the king planned to kill her all along. Now, back to the present. Gustav says to her that it went pretty well, all things considered. She's like, blah blah. He's like, what happened at the end? They're more like teammates now. But girl is like, he can dream on. We see that Isaac is back home, but he does not seem well. The butler asks him if he is really fine, but he brushes it off, saying that he is just tired from this long journey, nothing much. However, he collapses. Nane, after hearing this, runs to find him, thinking that if Isaac dies with a cholera or whatever it is, she will also die with him or more. She finally reaches, and the staff elsewhere are really sad and crying. Nane goes to the butler, asking that she needs a full update, while thinking that she probably needs even more because Ciri is going to kill her if she is not useful to him. Nane opens the door and sees that the princess is holding the hands of Isaac. She really hopes that the princess will not be here because of all that spying thing, but the princess gets all flustered as she drops Isaac's hands. Nane goes and greets the princess and asks why she is here and if she would like to eat something like cookies or water. The princess, however, apologizes to her, saying that she is here because she and Isaac were coming back from the meeting when she saw that Isaac fell, so she could not lead like that. Nane looks at him and says that he looks like he is in a really bad condition and thanks the princess for bringing him here. The princess adds that he was also really sick during the meeting, but he was stubborn about not leading the meeting, as she points to Nane that she must know how stubborn he is. Nane is taken aback, but she agrees that the princess is right, that he is really bullheaded. Now she also remembers this from the novel, the classic 6 scene where Isaac collapses and his wife is nowhere to be found, so of course the princess had to stay and take care of him all that time, and it was really that scene that even took the female protagonist to love their ship, which also means that she really should not be here. The princess, before she leaves, says that maybe she is going to go, but Nane insists that she should not leave because she has not even brought water for her, and also, on top of that, this world does not have any headlights, so the roads must be really dangerous at night. But the princess says that she is sure she will get home safe. Still, Nane really does not want them to miss this bonding moment. Just as Nane is trying to hold the two of them, Isaac in his sleep calls for Nane. Nane is trying to make him shut up, but the princess, getting her message, says that it seems like she has overstayed and tells Nane that she should be here, not her. The princess, before leaving, says that his fever must have made him overslip, so if she dares to try to hurt him again, she is going to make sure that her knife for sure meets Nane's neck, and she asks her not to test her patience. Nane really does not understand where the hell that even came from. She cannot believe that the princess just left after threatening her. She feels that she is really screwed because her sitting with Isaac right now is not written in the book, and she is already making things worse, so her dying here is written. She cannot even run from here, so she really needs to fix this. But we see that Isaac grasps Nane's hand. She checks that his fever has shown up again, hoping that he does not die because his lover will kill her for that. But she sees that Isaac in his fever says that Nane is really a nightmare and asks why she must always torment him. She feels that this is more like him. He touches her hair, making her ask if her body is alright. Isaac points out that she always haunts him in his dreams, and when he wakes up there is also nothing resembling peace or peace. To make this situation more complicated, Isaac pulls her to him, making her shout that she is not his teddy bear. She mentions that this is really enlightening, but also that he is going to make her sick, and she does not do it sick. Isaac looks at her and then hugs her, saying that this is good because she can consider this as his revenge. She looks at him, saying that he is such a diva. She really tries to wriggle out of him, but he has the arms of a bear, and she is trapped in his hold. Nane thinks that for her, this situation feels as if she has died and gone to hell. She imagines that she is going to get covered in snot and germs because her stupid husband, whom she didn't even marry, is hugging her like some pillow. He is also the pettiest man she has ever met. She scoffs to him that if she gets sick, she is going to kill him, but he is happy that at least it seems like he has taken her down with him. She is really done with this little puppy, and she tries that he let her go because she promises she will come back with a bowl of soup. But Isaac acts as if he really believes her word, and he is sure that her soup will be poison as well. Nane says to him that it is not like that he is sick because of her, and he mocks her that it is all because of her, because she tortured him and he cannot stop making the toilets run. He says he can get his stomach grumble just by thinking about her, and he is glad that at least he is making her suffer in the way of his death. Nane sighs that he has just got a fever and it is not like he is going to die. She looks at him, thinking that he is really stupid, but she is confused whether he is really not going to die, because if he dies, the princess is surely going to kill her. She checks and sees that he is super hot, by which she means the temperature of his body. He is someone she likes to have fun with, but she really does not want him to get sick. The question comes to her as to why he didn't just marry the princess in the first place, because that way everything would have gotten much easier. On top of that, she is also not the real Nane. She hits him, calling him a dummy who cannot make the right decision and always has to hurt himself. She does not know if she is responsible for making him keep alive, because she really does not know how to do that, having always been on her own and only ever taking care of herself. The next day, she calls to Isaac to get up because she is going to change his sheets. She tells him that since he was not able to break down her strong immune system, how is he feeling now? He mumbles for her to shut up because he is surely going to get to her, but she mocks him even more, wondering what he is trying to say, since she cannot understand a toddler's language. She then brings some clothes for him to change into, thinking that this way he is going to look even more pathetic. He wonders aloud if there is no one else around, since they are only sending her to do all this work. She sighs that it is for the quarantine and they don't want the whole house to get sick. She admits that she is even blushing when she looks at his fit body. A little later, she returns with some snacks. She gives him cookies and lemon tea, asking if it is delicious, but he only says that it is fine. She cannot believe that this is all he has to say after she has spent the whole day trying to make him feel good. Finally, he falls asleep, and it hits Nane that taking care of someone is really a hard task. She is all exhausted and thanking Biscuits that at least he does not whine to her. From behind, Gustav comes and asks her if she is hiding from Isaac here. She is actually taken aback and asks why he is always sneaking around like this. He says that he understands she is taking a break after all, since her hands are full with a lot of work. Nane asks him to stay back because she does not want him to get sick too. Gustav mocks her for being so kind, saying that one could mistake her for actually caring about Isaac. He says he really hopes that she will not let a mere emotion come between her work, because soon he is going to send the report to the Zeldan spies on the ball day. She asks him what he is trying to say and weren't they supposed to give the report to Ciri. He clears it up for her, saying that this time it is not them, and he is going to go alone this time. He also trusts that in that same vein she is going to take the information from the ball that they see. Nane assures him that after all, she has a plan for once, and she is not even lying this time because she really does have a plan. She is baking when she sighs that it is really terrible, but if she is able to nail this recipe from taste to appearance, the cake needs to be elegant. Isaac dashes into the kitchen, saying that this is a work that he is never going to use to describe her. She cannot believe that he just got out of bed to mess with her. She asks him to get out because this is really unsanitary, but he insists that she is also infectious, so what is she doing here? She says that she is baking. Isaac cannot believe that this is really true, because he heard the star gossip that Nane Cleric was the one who made the lemon bars for the Duke Polo match, but he saw her running around with the maid, so he thought it was the maid who had made those bars. It was rather unbelievable that she was also making the gift basket for the staff and for him. But now he believes that it was actually her. He sees that she really does want to make amends. He admits that he is sorry and that he is not going to underestimate her again, then asks her once more what else she is hiding. She is confused about whether Isaac is trying to flirt with her or if he is suspicious of her, so to distract him, she starts to note that he still seems to be burning up, so he really needs to rest. He grasps her hand and says that he is all fine. After all, he had a mute that bullied him back to health. Nane thinks to herself that in that case, she still has not gotten a thank you from him. Isaac gets closer to her and whispers his thanks. He says that he really means it not only for the fact that she took care of him but also because of her. The mansion atmosphere seems to have gotten much lighter. She responds that she would have done this for anyone, so he does not need to pay that much attention to her because she is fine on her own and is also used to taking care of herself. She says to him that she needs to make this really memorable mark because she is going to meet the Duchess and her friends, who are all great fans of hers. Isaac says that in that case, it feels like she needs a lot of help. She looks at him and cannot believe that he is wearing the apron to help her, but while wearing it he confidently asks if she thinks he pulled this trip. What she is picturing right now is a sweet Isaac-made version. She tells herself that it is really great of him to help her, but right now he is breaking so many health codes. He, however, rizzles to her that he cannot go out until he finds out why this little hobby of hers appeals so much to her. He is actually inspired to see that someone has this much dedication to their craft. Nane says to him that of course he should be impressed because his diplomacy is not going to show him how to make pudding, and she wonders if he really thinks that he can even make one. But Isaac scoffs that who knows, he might be able to do it. After all, he loves to take challenges, and it is his job to bring people together, just like that he is also going to bring forward the right ingredients. But she points to him that the thing in his hand is salt, not sugar. Nane makes the wild guess that she is sure growing up he never even once stepped into the kitchen. He gets all embarrassed and assures that he is not that entitled. She can see that he has yet to see himself as something else, but she really cannot relate. After all, she is good at everything. But he dazzles her that she needs to give him enough time, and he is going to find something that she is not good at. Now that he is sure, she thinks that there is really something she can use him for, and that is getting out of this kitchen and helping her to stop spreading disasters in the kitchen. He allows that maybe he will leave now. Nane thinks that he has begun taking more interest in her activities than before. She doubts that it is because he enjoys her company, because he still does not trust her, but she also cannot blame him for this. It seems like she still needs to gain his trust back because she cannot keep on meeting him snooping like this. Being watched is not her vibe at all. Finally, it is the party time. Nane goes and greets the other ladies. She says that it is great to see them all here. The ladies seem shocked to see her here, but the Duchess is glad that Nane came. Nane points out that she remembers the Duchess mentioning this party to her, and since she was nearby, she thought of dropping in. The Duchess is about to say something when another lady comes to Nane and tells her that they are about to leave. Actually, they all say that they got some other stuff to do, but just at that time the waiter arrives and serves the food that they had ordered and asks if the other stuff is laid. So, they have no choice but to invite Nane to this party too. All the ladies there are talking among themselves. Nane never thought that she would feel this lonely. After all, she never had any female friends. Finally, one of the ladies asks her if she has decided the dress for the solstice ball because some of them really want to know if she is going to attend the ball with Isaac since they have never seen the two of them together. Nane thinks that this girl is a dingbat because she was never in these, that is why she was never in any ball. So, Nane says to this annoying lady that actually her husband is super busy with all this diplomacy stuff, that he is like a hero saving the world. But the lady scoffs that even still he never attends and stuff, and it seems like he is a bookworm and also a bit cold. But the Duchess scoffs to her that she does not remember this lady saying that when she was trying to get married to Isaac. The lady gets all embarrassed and says that she just meant to say that at the time he was a good eligible suitor for her. Nane agrees that they can call Isaac a bookworm. After all, he is really intelligent. The Duchess then questions Nane about what she has in these baskets. Nane tells everyone that she brought orange tarts for them along with some other pastry stuff that is literally perfect for tea vibes. They all take a bite and immediately think that it is extremely light and tasty like, no cap, it's giving chef's kiss. They all rush to her, basically spamming her with questions about where she got all this aesthetic pastry magic, and they are really eager to buy it too. But Nane drops the plot twist, telling them that she actually made it all by herself. The Duchess points out that, to think Nane prepared for everyone like this, it doesn't seem like she came here just by accident. Nane says to the Duchess that if she is usually the one organizing all the parties, then period, it makes sense. The Duchess replies with a yes, but she also wonders if Nane is low-key lying about that. Nane points out that she was actually thinking if the Duchess could invite her too, and she wants her to think of this as a whole application, while these treats are just a small sample like a sneak peek trailer of what she wants to do. It's giving internship vibes but with sugar and frosting. Cereal is a really big paycheck to Nane because she totally just unfiltered the Duchess's inner circle like a damn pro. The Duchess asks her why she wants to join the banquet, and Nane, after that, admits she has actually been thinking about it up until now, that she is less involved in the social functions, so of course, she says she wants to come if they want her to. One lady tries to say that the committee is already complete, but the Duchess cuts through and says she would love to have her. Nane is genuinely happy about this and even asks them if they are really familiar with the patriarchy because, let's be real, she's nosy like that. She is also glad that Gustav is finally going to stop bugging her for updates on the mission. She is sick and tired of his nonsense at this point. There is only room for one bloody spy in this barony, and that spy is going to be her, period. She can pass along all of the event details that are meaningless to the Zeldans just to prove that she is still doing something. While all that is happening, her real energy can finally go toward avoiding being beheaded by King Zeldin. And on top of that, the princess suddenly shows up, leaving Nane absolutely astonished like, what the heck is she doing here in her house? She even goes and asks her why she came, because the last time they spoke, the princess literally tried to threaten her with a knife. Nane points out that she would have made sure they had something prepared if she had known the princess was going to pull up at their house. But the princess says she actually just wanted to check on Isaac and didn't want to leave him all alone in this condition. Isaac asks her to stop making it sound dramatic, because it's more like he is pregnant than sick. The princess then asks Nane if she understands her reason for coming here today. Nane even insists to Isaac that he should catch up with the princess and tell her everything he has saved up until now, because honestly, Nane does not want to make an enemy out of someone who is basically holding a gun to her head. After that, she excuses herself and says she is going to go and freshen up for a bit. This girl even points to Isaac to go and take the princess for a walk. She is really feeling good about having the princess here today, because Nane is planning to kill them with kindness. If the princess is going to snoop around here, then fine, she is going to give her absolutely nothing to find. It's giving stay mad, but classy. And she is also going to bake and make the princess eat her sweets. She enters the kitchen and asks if they all can step out for a moment, because no one can resist the power of caramelized sugar with a sweet and sour twist. Getting the princess to lay off her will be way easier than King Zeldin, and maybe she can even soft prop a little romance between the princess and Isaac. Nane thinks that the princess is really shameless moving in on her husband, but even God knows they are better together to face the future. The chef asks her if she is going to serve both cakes for dinner, but Nane says no, they will serve one, and the other is for them the servants to eat. This makes the maids really happy. Finally, the food is served, and now it is time for Nane to dip. She says she is not feeling that great today and that she is going to call it out. The two of them enjoy the dinner, since they cannot let the food go to waste. Isaac grabs her by the waist and points out that she must have caught a cold from him. He says they will go to sleep early tonight, adding that she also looks a little feverish. Nane thinks that he really doesn't need to act out this whole good husband routine, but the princess jumps in and adds that she really can't impose on them any longer. Isaac also says that it's a lot for her, after all, and they don't want her to get sick too. The princess then asks Isaac to keep in touch, because she doesn't want him to catch nothing else like, FR, she's being extra. Before she goes, she adds that she knows the general told him not to come, but she will allow him to come with them to the border in 2 days. Nane remembers that this must be the very thing Gustav wanted to spy on. Isaac points out that it will depend on whether Nane is ill or not. Nane, however, abruptly says no, because she really wants him to go with the princess. She is going to be fine by that day. But Isaac makes it clear that he is not going to leave, not until she is alright. And Nane cries internally, thinking that this idiot is going to get her killed. It's giving love is blind, and apparently also deaf. Isaac makes it clear that he doesn't want to leave her all alone, but Nane once again assures him that she is completely fine. The prince also points out that, to him, Nane looks like her usual self, but for the sake of Isaac, she is going to send the royal doctor over. Nane thanks her, saying that she is right, she really is as stunning as ever, even when she has a fever, and besides, she's got a whole squad of staff taking care of her. Then she adds a spicy little jab to Isaac, saying that if he is so obsessed with her, then maybe he should just take the princess and go with the prince to the border. Isaac sighs like a man who knows he's already lost the argument, and he reluctantly agrees that if she is this determined, then fine, he is going to go. That settles it. Nane fakes a soft smile and says she's going to go lie down for now. She thinks it was nice of him to offer to stay, but honestly, he probably just feels bad because she took care of him when he was sick, and she absolutely doesn't need his guilty conscience to get them all killed. And if she can distract the princess by keeping her attention locked onto Isaac, then those two will end up head over heels, starry-eyed, falling in love with each other like it's a rom-com in the making. 3 days later, she heads into town, searching for vendors for her holistic village project, but she would have never imagined stumbling into the cutest farmer's market to ever exist. She is literally bouncing around like a golden retriever puppy, eyes sparkling as she sees stall after stall filled with cool, exotic fruits. She has never been so happy to be ridiculously rich like, thank you, bank account, for not flopping today. She is buying everything, absolutely everything, and the best part? Isaac isn't even around to judge her spending spree. The food looks so appetizing that she is basically ready to post an aesthetic flat lay on Insta and caption it fruit goals. Meanwhile, Gustav is wandering here and there, his energy more sus than wholesome. He inspects the knife he just picked up from a shop and casually asks the shopkeeper if it is Zeldan forge. The shopkeeper immediately gets salty, offended to the core, and snaps back that this is not true and how dare Gustav even say such a thing, it's practically against the law. Gustav scoffs, drops a dismissive okay then, and tosses the money down. The shopkeeper, however, levels up the hostility and adds that he doesn't accept Zeldan currency. Gustav doubles down, telling him that he doesn't trade with Zeldan at all. But still, he is able to recognize the coin like, duh. The shopkeeper, however, suddenly goes full Karen mode and asks why Gustav even needs such a sharp knife and who he is planning to stab with it. Nane immediately pops out, wide-eyed, wondering if Gustav is seriously not going to kill her after all this time. She's the one who dragged him to this adorable little market, and honestly, they're practically besties now. Gustav then snatches the cake sample from the counter like he owns the place, and Nane shouts that it was for testing only. Gustav shrugs and adds that they actually taste just as good as they look, and wow, they look pretty delicious. The audacity of this man, he's literally flirting with her while holding pastries, and she cannot believe it. The two of them walk off, and the shopkeeper keeps side-eyeing them as if they're the star couple in some soap opera. They remain in the market when suddenly someone calls out to them, yelling for Gustav to drop the weapon. Nane, caught off guard, insists to the knights that this must be some kind of mistake, but the knights go full dramatic mode and grab Gustav, calling him Zeldan scum. Nane demands they let him go immediately, saying he is her husband's footman and she will not tolerate this nonsense. The knights glance at each other, half unsure, but the gossip levels in the market skyrocket because one of the shopkeepers just identified Gustav as a Zeldan thief. Nane tries to explain that he didn't do anything wrong, but the whole thing spirals. In the end, Gustav somehow still walks with Nane, even though they were almost dragged off, but she notices a few people continue whispering, clearly recognizing him from earlier. She wonders if this is the kind of treatment Zeldan people always get here, and the thought makes her seriously worried for him. Gustav, however, looks like he's about to flop on the spot. His skin tone is off, his steps heavy, and Nane gently tells him that while what just happened wasn't cool at all, he is allowed to be upset if he feels like it. But Gustav mutters that it isn't just the knights, it feels like he's actually getting sick. Seeing his condition, it definitely looks that way, and Nane instantly cancels to go to the cheese and meat vendor. Gustav then casually drops the bombshell that he is actually supposed to meet the Zeldan spies in less than an hour. Nane freezes, asking if that's really today, and Gustav nods weakly, saying it looks like she will have to go instead of him. Nane points out that this is a terrible plan, like, next level bad, and asks if he really expects her to go alone. What if they abduct her? But Gustav tells her she doesn't have much of a choice. He presses a folded paper into her hand, saying it has the address, and she should tell them everything she has learned about the ball, including everything she reported back to him, and anything else she can think of. Nane stares at the paper, then looks at him, asking if he really can't go himself. But the way Gustav is literally vomiting this much, it's clear he won't make it to the meeting alive. She sighs, sorry for him but also understanding that he is absolutely right. Deep down, she already knew he wouldn't be able to meet the Zeldan spies, not with his stomach in ruins. And of course, the cake she let him taste earlier has now come back to betray them. She hates that she has to be the one to go, but at this point, she has no choice. She finally reaches the tavern, and honestly, it doesn't look that bad. It's got that rustic, homey vibe, kind of like the comfort of her hometown. Good thing is that she's rocking a clever disguise. Seriously, she's like a full-on chameleon in this thing. No one will ever notice she's actually rich, and that way they can't upcharge her for drinks. She just needs to act natural, vibe with the crowd, keep it low-key. She scans the room, looking around for the spies. Gustav told her she would meet only 2 of them. They should be dressed like legation soldiers, but he reassured her not to stress about finding them because, in his words, they would have way more trouble spotting her. She knows that's what Gustav said, but still, she needs to be the one to call out to them, otherwise, they might totally miss her. After all, her disguise is giving stealth mode unlocked. But then the twist hits, the spies spot her first and call her out. They say she seems to be missing a footman. She can't help but feel embarrassed, like, ouch, they clocked her way sooner than expected. And now she has to explain. She adds that actually Gustav kind of fell ill, so she had to come on her own. The spies, with all the casual confidence in the world, decide he must have eaten something really bad. Their tone makes it sound like this is just another Tuesday for him. They add that she is acting exactly the same way she was introduced earlier, like déjà vu in motion. She thinks to herself that she absolutely cannot agree with that assessment, not after the whirlwind of today. It feels off, completely wrong. What is she even supposed to do in moments like this? Gustav is honestly just too much sometimes, because every single time he gets new information about the ball, it turns into chaos like his brain is a live update system that refuses to chill. He will definitely pore over her resources, but she really can't give these spies the legit information because what if they use that to straight up attack the princess? Instead, she takes out the paper and declares that it's got all the details they need, the guest list, the full ballroom layout, the adjoining rooms, even the exact guard postings. On top of that, she slips in some juicy court gossip, like she's sliding bonus DLC into the packet. For these guys, it's basically a take it or leave it deal. She studies the spies carefully, wondering if they believe her story. Because, low-key, she knows she has changed every last detail, and nothing in this envelope is actually true. But then one of the spies drops the line that even Gustav said she's really helpful. That's when it hits with the threat. Once a traitor, always a traitor. To drive the point home, they snip off some of her hair, promising it'll reach her neck next time if she fails. Like yikes, way to make a girl's day worse. They also throw in a jab that, given her wealth and status, she can easily pick up their tavern tab. The second spy jumps in, saying he's got a plan too. But he adds that Zelda has never taken treason lightly. It goes against literally everything they stand for. And besides, it's hard to believe someone like her would be the type to sell out. Nobles are the ones who take the tithes and make the taxes, not the ones who pay them. So what's her ulterior motive? That's the real tea. Why in the world would she betray her own people? This makes Nane stop and think, even though she keeps her face calm. What if the real Nane did actually hate the legations? Still, it's getting pretty obvious. No spy would offer to serve the king of an enemy country unless they were willing to burn themselves down with the whole deal. But she was already an aristocrat, living comfy, flexing her purse strings the moment she hit barony rank. What could she possibly have to gain? It has to be something personal. She really needs to figure that out before it comes back to kill her. So she tells the spy she doesn't owe him any kind of explanation. She knows loyalty is their favorite word, but she also wonders if it has ever crossed their minds that sometimes the only person you can trust is yourself. Maybe that's just something a soldier can't wrap their head around. The spy snaps back, saying he's no soldier at all, just another peasant beneath her boots, waiting to get crushed. But this time, there are hundreds like him, and she can't kill them all. Zelda, he says, is waiting for the day when the people of Legatia finally get sick of all the pageantry and exploitation. When that day comes, they'll come back to liberate Nane too, and it'll be her head rolling off her shoulders. After they finally leave, she's at least relieved they pay for their own drinks, because she totally left her wallet at home. She thinks maybe she can actually go grab herself a drink now, but seeing the tavern owner locked in a brawl with another guy feels like a cosmic sign. Do not drink here. Time to dip. But just as she's about to bounce, she freezes. Isaac is standing right in front of her, and the sight leaves her completely stunned. She wonders why he is everywhere she goes, because he is supposed to be at the border. He must already be on his way back, which means she needs to beat him home or elsewhere. She wonders who is with him, because she really does not recognize this man as his friend. She wonders if he is from the military or another diplomat, but he has the face of someone who is not going to respect others. Honestly, Isaac should leave behind his pretty boy aesthetic, because it puts him in danger here. She is glad that at least she got there without being seen, because how could she even have explained to him why she is here? Still, she is really worried about him, so she goes and asks if that is him, and she points out that it is such an odd thing to find him here. She lies that actually she was just lost in the woods and stopped by the seedy tavern in the middle of the night to take refuge. Isaac is genuinely stunned to see her here. She tries to explain to him why she is here, but he assures her that she can spare him the details, as he is certain she has a great reason for being here unaccompanied while he has been conveniently out of the country. She replies to him that he really does not know what he is implying. She will have him know that her escort actually got sick at the market, so she sent him home. She goes on and then greets the general. Isaac tells the general that it is like him to excuse his wife, but the general stands up, saying that it will be better if they discuss all of this at some other time. She goes to him and asks if he is leaving so early, because he just visited the border, and she would love to know how it went. She bets he has all kinds of juicy secrets that Zelda would kill to get their hands on. The general scoffs that the stories of the borders are not charming enough for her delicate ears, but then he says to Isaac that he has seen what they are up against now firsthand. He adds that it is naive to think this will not end in war. And after all, he got the princess's ears before it is too late. He will not doom his country to the indecisive whims of an emotional female. Nane's cold read is totally accurate, so things at the border are rough, and the general wants Isaac to convince the princess to prepare for war. This is really stressful. Then Nane says to Isaac that he seems genuinely less than thrilled to see her, and if he is really not thinking that she is here trying to get some sleeves behind his back. Isaac scoffs that to him it did not seem like that, because it is safe to think that her standards are in the ground. Actually, Nane questions if he is talking about the Duke and wishes him not to throw the lowest point of her life in her face. But Isaac smiles at her to relax, because he is just kidding around, and actually she has kind of become a stress reliever for him, and he is genuinely glad to see her. She replies that in that case he should tease away, but maybe they steer clear of talking about the Duke. Isaac points out that it is people like the Duke who are turning the border into a war zone. The gap between the nobility and the working classes keeps widening year after year, and they can blame the greed of the rich for that. She tells him that she has heard of this, but she thought the border violence was about its proximity to Zeldan. It mostly is. It is fighting fueled by a lot of joint citizens or legation people whose families once hailed from Zeldan but live at the border. Their homes and storefronts are the targets of crime and boycotts. It is a city divided. There are protests calling for protection of Zeldan legation citizens right alongside riots calling for war. Meanwhile, the nobility hoard their wealth like cowards, scared of the future. They could offer aid, but instead they let poverty rates increase. After seeing what happened earlier today with Gustav, that tracks. She asks him if it is the same kind of violence happening in Zeldan, but Isaac says that is the interesting part. As the unrest in their country grows, stalling their trade and making it difficult to travel north, Zeldan's economy has quickly gotten back on its feet. Adam's trade legislation set it back, but now it has recovered, much to the Zeldan king's liking, he presumes. She thinks that Zeldan benefits from this, and she does not love the implication. It seems like Maiden is just stringing the princess along, waiting for Legatia to weaken, and at the most vulnerable moment he will strike. She chugs down the beer, asking what about the Zeldan legation citizens who live on the border, and if they are just collateral damage to them. The beer, on the other hand, tastes like horse piss. She really cannot remember the last time she got raging drunk. Isaac also wants to do just that, but she looks at him, thinking that she has already seen him half out of his mind from a fever. Is drunk Isaac the same impatient, demanding, whiny, maybe a little bit cute, but mostly just a hot mess? Isaac shoots her with the question of since when did she start to worry about the people of Zeldan. She says to him that it is not like she is a heartless monster. In fact, it is safe to say she cares only a normal amount, just like she cares a normal amount about everyone, no more or less than what is reasonable or humane. Anyway, let's order some more horse piss, and it does sound good. He glares at her a little, but she wonders if it is that bad. He grabs her hand and mentions that it is not just that. It is just hard for him to tell how she wants people to see her heartless, kind, or spoiled, but he really does not know how she feels about anything, really, including him.